Hello. This is going to be a very strange screencast. It's kind of put together with spit and baling wire. That what I wanted to do was show you the process that I just went through to record um, phone images, or rather, record a video off of my phone so that I could make promotional videos for the Hands That Feed Us app that we just recently released for in partnership with the Food Chain Workers Alliance. But because I'm doing screen recordings of screen recordings, there's going to be some kind of funky stuff going on. But I hope that this is going to be informative and useful. That once you get the process down for doing this, then you can kind of just churn them out really quick. And I hope that this will be useful. So let's kind of get going with what I'm talking about here. The first thing that I did was I did a search for screen recorders for Android. I have a Nexus 6. You probably have an iPhone if you're listening to this because everyone has an iPhone. And I'm sure that there's quality screen recording software out there. But if you have an Android, then good for you. And what I use is a program called AZ Screen Recorder. It's free. It has a premium version also for $3, and it's worth every penny. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm not used to freeware working this nicely. But anyway, once you download the screen recorder, then you can start doing a screen recording. What I chose to do was make very short, like under a minute, preferably about 30-second long sort of user narratives where you start by opening the app or you start on the opening screen and then show off something that is inside the app. In this case, we're going to do workers' stories. Um, so I start by turning on the screen recorder. I can't show you that part, but it's launching the app. Start with the home screen and then kind of give a little bit of downtime on each screen, press on the thing that I want, give the user enough time to kind of orient themselves. See them going nice and slow. It's not for them to read everything, it's just to get a sense of what's on there. And okay, I'm going to show one last feature, the fact that there's data also. And you can see kind of stuff that's on there. Go back to the home screen and then finish the recording. You see that I push the pause record screen. And now I'm going to switch into, because I want to show you the process that goes into um, getting the file to yourself, then I'm going to switch over to the Google Play or Google Games, which allows you to um, record yourself playing games, but it can also record your phone screen because I can't. The AZ recorder doesn't allow you to record doing stuff on itself. I'm switching over to a second screen recorder, so that's why you see this little icon in the bottom left corner. And so there, I'm back on my home screen, and I bring down the overlay. I go to the galleries of my videos, choose the one that I did, and hit share, and then I hit add to drive. I've got a screencasts folder up there, so I just go ahead and add it. Um, and it then uploads to my Google Drive, and you can see that it's now uploading. And here we are back on a normal computer screen. We're more or less done with the phone now. So here I am on my Google Drive, and I've gone to my casts folder, and I can see that my workers' stories video has been uploaded. If I was doing this in real time and not like after the fact, then this would be called some. This would have a name more close to this, but I already renamed it. Here it is on my Google Drive. I have my drive synced to my computer, so I can find it there. Here we have workers' stories, and we can see more or less the thing that we record. This is exactly the thing that we recorded. What I'm going to do is create a video using my video editor that I happen to have. If you're doing this, then you'll probably use something like WeVideo or Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro or something else, but I don't have any of those. All I have is ScreenFlow, which is the software that I'm using to edit this video edit and create this video that you're watching right now. So we've got a whole bunch of black magic going on right now. But anyway, I need to put this into a new video project, and so I need to know what its dimensions are so that I can edit it effectively. I can just right click and hit get info, and it will tell me the dimensions of the video that I'm looking at. So the size is 720 by 1280. That's 720 pixels wide by 1280 pixels wide. So let's see if this works. I'm going to go to ScreenFlow. You can see, hey, here's the video that I'm editing right now. This is so weird. I'm going to create a new project, a new document with my preferred screen dimensions of 720 by 1280. I hope this doesn't crash my computer. And there it is. Wow, it worked. Cool. And so I can just import the worker stories thing. I can't open it with ScreenFlow. That doesn't work for some reason, but I can just click and drag it over. And there, I've got it. I can edit this thing however I want so that it would just be this, and this would be pretty legit just as it is. I can cut off the ugly transitions, have it start right there, have it end right where I'm done with it. Export this and then upload it to YouTube and then share that on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. But we're going to go just one step further. I'm going to save this project. I'm going to save this in the project folder that I've been using for this. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of title cards. Title cards are just what they sound like little intro and outros to our video so that it'll give a little bit of context and give people a call to action at the very end. There we go. So as you can see, we've got these neat title cards. Before we do this narrative, this is the Meet the Chain narrative. It's already published. This is the second one that I made, and then I was like, hey, I don't want this knowledge to go away, so I'll just show people how I'm doing it. So this is familiar. This is basically just the user narrative that I did in the beginning part of this video. But then we have these title cards, the hands that feed us, a call to action to get it on iTunes, get it on Google Play. Here's the beginning one. And then also I've got these transitions so that it's just not a straight cut. How do we do that? We just need to switch over to our design application and then start making. I use Affinity Designer. You probably don't have this, but it is an absolutely stellar application. So I'm going to create the title cards. I already know the dimensions of the video that I'm doing. Remember, it's 720 by 1280. What do I need to put in here? I've already got some art that I use to create, that we use to create various other assets for the stores. And so I'll just open this up and I'm going to copy it and move it over. This is super simple. It's just a red rectangle and then one of our logo assets. Remember to save this and oh, there. I'm going to remember to save this in case it in case it crashes, because I'm running a lot of stuff right now. So what do we need? We just need a couple of things that show who created this, what it is, and everything like that. Again, I'm going super basic on all of this. So that's cool. We got our intro title card. We need a second one though. So I'm going to go to the artboard tool, insert artboard. I'm going to give myself another artboard. Make sure to label these things. just going to move these two things. I'm just going to copy them over. By the way, the shortcut I'm using is just holding Option and then click and dragging. This works in a lot of applications to duplicate. Move this to the top. Now what we want is a couple of calls to action. So we need our applications. Give myself another text box. Switch this to a mono. Whenever I give links, I like putting them in a monospace font. Consolis is nice. Get rid of the HTTP : because all that does is waste characters. Get this down something a bit smaller, probably 48 is good. I'll duplicate that. So that's not quite good enough. What we want to do is go ahead and grab ourselves some branded Apple and Google Play store badges. These are very simple to get. Just Google iTunes store download badge. iTunes NiBook store badge affiliates. I don't know why the CSS doesn't render here. iTunes guidelines and badges. The iTunes badge. I'm going to download that, and it'll give me a whole package of things. Now, Google Play download badge. It's a good idea to read these brand outlines. They don't like you screwing around with their logos. So just, this is good reference for anything that you might want to do. That all good brands will have pages like this where you can get official art, like their logos, various promotional stuff. You can almost always find them. Twitter has them, YouTube, Facebook, everything. So I'm going to generate the badge. If this was for a website, you can actually give it your parameters and then it'll spit out code for you, but we don't need that. The file type that we want is EPS because that'll give us nice vectors to work with instead of a raster image like PNG. Vectors are infinitely scalable and editable. They're very good. Go ahead and download that. And there we've got our stuff. Unzip the Apple one. The Google Play badge is an EPS format, so that can be opened with Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer. Oop. There we go. I'm going to group all these instead of importing them as a layer, just because I want it for, it's just easier to work with that way. Move over to my title cards, put that in. I don't like that white background. I don't know why they include that. So I'll just find that wherever it is. There we go, we got Google. Now let's check out iTunes. Get it on, don't laugh. Get it on iTunes. There we go. This gives you a SVG or an EPS. I'll just open it in SVG. There we go. It's not perfect, but this is just a tutorial. And there we go. We were able to create these in a couple of minutes. The process is going to be different for you. You're definitely going to want to polish it up more, and you're probably going to be using a different app. But there we go. I went over to the export persona. I'm going to export both of these things. I'll just put them in my downloads because I don't remember where I stored the video project. And now what we need to do is just get them over on ScreenFlow. There's the meet the chain. That's what we'll work on. Here we are. Workers stories. I'm going to detach the audio and delete it because we don't need it. So what do we do now? Now all we got to do is just kind of drag our intro and outro title cards here onto the timeline. Again, I'm using ScreenFlow. You will probably use something else, but they all work kind of the same. So here they are, my intro and outro cards. I'll just put it right in there. The timeline treats this as a bit of video. It's just a still image. So I'll move that to the beginning of the timeline, and I'll just kind of see I'm altering the focus or the magnification so that I have it's easier to work with this way. This doesn't need to be on here for 5 seconds. Let's move it down to like 3 seconds so that people can sort of get their bearings. There we go. Now I can move over. I'm going to move the scrubber to the end. I can put in my outro title card. I'll leave that at like 4 seconds because I want people to know that they should do that. And we've got a totally legit marketing tool right now. That it's got the intro, it shows the news or narrative. People are like, whoa, I can't believe how amazing this app is. I need to get it and donate money. And then here's where you get it. And we'll also do a little bit of, we'll add cards to the YouTube video once it's time to upload that. Now, again, we could totally export this and it would be just fine. But let's add just a tiny little final bit of polish that I'm going to add transitions to this. Fades in. I'm not a master of transitions. I like literally just discovered this tool. I'm going to give it a cross blur that it does this instead. I'm going to overlay this over it so that it blurs into what we want, like that. Neat. Transitions are going to work a little bit differently depending on what you, what editing software you're going to use. So just play around. I'll add a starting transition to the out clip, and then, no, that's not what I want to do. Or is it? Oh, let's fiddle around. There, I'll overlap them so that it, there we go. Okay, cool. We've got our video. I'll just show you one. Transition. There we go, we finished. Transition. Get it on iTunes and Google Play. And give us money. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to do on this. I'll go ahead and export it 100%. I'll move this to the downloads folder and hit export. And the video is done exporting. Here we go, worker stories. It's in the standard MP4 format. Neat. So, what do we do with this? I've created a playlist on the Everett Programs YouTube channel, and so I'm going to add this to that. Here I'm on YouTube. Hit upload, and just drag it on in. This shouldn't take too long to thing, but I'm going to skip over this part of okay. I skipped over making the copy for the info part. So basically, I've got links to the report and to both versions of the app. I chose it to share on Twitter. It's public. I called it Workers Stories. I'm going to add this to the Hands That Feed Us playlist because I've already got 2 other videos up. I'll choose this as the thumbnail, or maybe this, whatever, and publish it. So it's up, it's ready to go. People can view it once it's done processing. And here we go. It's here. It's on YouTube. It's ready to be shared. We're going to add just a little bit more extra polish to this in the form of some audio. And we're going to add some music, and then we're also going to add some cards. What music? This is an app preview, so probably some background ukulele music is what we need for this. That's a little too intense. There we go. If you've seen any app or software preview, you've heard this music. I don't know when ukulele music became the de facto app background music, but there it is. Okay, I'm gonna save that. And one last bit of worker stories. One last bit of stuff. We're gonna add cards. Um, End screen and annotations. Sometime we'll make a video about end screens, but annotations, they're those little boxes that show up over the video. You've been seeing these for the last few years, but so I was going to add some, and then it says, hey, they're going away on May 2nd. Basically, Apple or Google is killing, or YouTube rather, is killing annotations because they're outdated. They don't work on mobile, and they're just like, okay, guys, no more of this. So instead, they're replacing it with cards functionality, which adds these little things on the side that you can click, and it'll give you links or recommended videos or stuff like that. So we're going to create two cards, one for the iTunes and one for the Android. So we've got links to the apps in the description, but also in these cards. What is the link to iTunes? Card title, let's call this iOS. Call to action, download on iTunes. You'll see that I didn't have to add an image. This just pulls art that is already part of the store listing. So that's what it does. iOS, download the app from the Everett program. No, whatever, can't change that. I'm going to add, that shows, I'll move it to right here so it starts basically at the beginning. I'm going to add a second card to the Android version. Again, it pulls something from the store. The Android version has a different icon. That's why those two things are different. It automatically saves these. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like. Got our music. Download now. That's our card. Get the app. It reminds them again. You click them and, okay, iOS or Android. All right. Sweet. So this has been the most complicated screencast I've ever created, and hopefully it is informative. Hopefully you've been able to watch it from the beginning to the end, because this is making a simple screencast promotional video for your app from start to finish. Once you get those title cards, you just reuse them. You just follow this. It'll take you some time the first time to make one of these videos, but once you get the process down, it's super fast. You make you essentially have yourself a template, record some more 20 to 30-second user narratives, and you can make a bunch of these. Create a playlist, share them on Facebook, share them on Twitter, do it on Instagram. That you've created these assets, and now you can use them for whatever purposes that you want. And again, it might take a little time in the first for the first one, but once you get the template down, then you can just churn them out as fast as you want. So yeah, this is the process. Have a good day.